So you finally got tired. You got tired of the nonsense. You said enough is enough. Ain't nobody finna take advantage of you no more. You decided to put your foot down. And what did that get you? That got you hatred. Then you started wondering. So that means that this whole time that you was treating me the way you was treating me, you knew it was wrong. But you just was playing along with me because I did not step up within myself to let you know that I'm aware of your nonsense. Welcome to the Chosen's Path. I am the common denominator. I will bring it to your attention on this path. You have to be ready for persecution. You have to be ready for insults. You have to be ready for name calling. You have to be ready for all of that, because you could never do everything right by everybody as you are expecting. That is part of what comes with the Chosen's path. But you are being made ready. In fact, I know you were made ready already if you got your mind into the scriptures. If you had your head buried in the scriptures, you would get to know that you are not the first and you will not be the last. Because on this path, the path that leads to the greater light, as you know, the light will always attract the forces of darkness. So it is not one of those things where you now have to be scratching your head wondering. You have to expect it. But the good thing is you put your foot down. Because every time you stand up for yourself, you're saving somebody else. Did you know that? Did you know that every single time when you let people know that you are not okay with the stupidity that they're projecting at you, and they know very well what they're doing, they just want to make sure that you are going to be okay with it. But every single time when you let people know that you see the nonsense that they're projecting at you, and you are not going to tolerate it, even if it makes you an enemy, do you know that you are saving somebody else? They might hate you, but when they get back to their reserve, they're going to sit back and realize, wow, somebody actually stood up to me. And the sad thing is they never really think, what if somebody else is projecting that onto them? In the moment, they love what they're doing. They're getting a thrill off of it. But the fact that you stood up within yourself and you let them know, okay, enough is enough. We're not going to keep on playing this foolish game. This is even the age, in fact, where we have to start to let people know. Some people call it boundaries. Me, I just say call it what it is as you see it coming. Don't be blind to what it was. Call it how you see it. A lot of people are giving themselves over to the modes of deception. They don't mind going out of their way to deceive others just so they can get what they feel they need to get. They don't care. They don't mind hurting other people. They don't care about your feelings, right? People want to satisfy their purses. Their purses are always yearning, so they're willing to backstab their own family members. They're willing to trade off their souls. They're willing to go out of their way. But y'all are on the Chosen's path with me. I am the common denominator. Y'all already know I'll always break it down to the lowest common factor. We will not leave anything out. We will leave no stones unturned, and we will always call it how we see it. Because on the Chosen's path, we are not here to butter anybody's pancakes. You see, we are not here to pamper anybody, because the days that we are in and the days that are coming, we have to be strong. We have to be very, very vigilant. And we have to also know the way the enemy operates on this field. You can't just be out here getting tossed around. You have to guard your resources, especially nowadays. You don't just go planting and then you don't fence off your farm and you expect that you are going to go back to a good harvest, only to get back and realize that the enemy allowed goats and all kind of animals to run through and devour the seeds before they can even germinate. You see? So we have to cater to our farm. And that's the mental farm I'm talking about here. Do not allow anybody, no one, stand up to Goliath in truth and in spirit, because you got it in you. The power, authority has been bestowed upon you, especially if you are operating in the Christ frequency. It is now in you. You step up to Goliath and you let him know enough is enough. You sling it. Now is the time, my dear brothers and sisters. We all deserve to be on this planet just as much as anybody else, but we are not going to tolerate garbage being shoved down our throats, as in just deal with it. Nah, there is so much being offered on the platter of life. And once you step up within yourself and you realize that you could make wiser choices, do make wiser choices. And do educate some of these individuals who have chosen to subject themselves to foolishness. Because we all learn from each other in so many different ways. And sometimes it'll require the little David to educate Goliath, even if it means he has to lay Goliath down. And even if Goliath doesn't get to wake up to learn, the message will go across. Take it upon yourselves. Do not allow anybody to manipulate you to do things that you know you should not be doing. A lot of people are desperate. People are hopping into digital spaces, emotional spaces, willing to take advantage of those who are vulnerable. And if you open up that window, even if you were just trying to peep, be careful. Because just by opening up that window to look out, you are granting the enemy an opportunity to slide right on in. So you have to fortify yourself mentally to be ready for this world as we are stepping into it now. It is far much more serious than we are even willing to accept. And it doesn't mean that we should move about in fear. It just means that we should now be much more cautious. After being scammed not once, not twice, not 3 times, I got to realize I need to build those fences. And I also need to caution others to take it upon themselves to be aware. Especially those who just feel like they could be very, very trusting, very, very open, open-handed. Sometimes you're even thinking that just by giving help, you're doing the right thing. And of course, you're doing the right thing. But just by you doing that is an invite. Who would have ever thought that just by smiling, sometimes at some people, was an invite for the devil? You would never think that. And that is why we see our society today. We see as things are slowly progressing, if we are honest with ourselves, we can see exactly what is going on. We have to be very, very honest with ourselves in this day and age that we are now in, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Chosen's path. It's real, where you get to realize the journey is mental. That's why I'm emphasizing on mental fortification. Being aware of the enemy's tactics is one of the best ways of being prepared. If you don't even know that you are on the battlefield, you're getting tossed around. You don't even know what weapons to use. You probably just went up in there with the bow and arrow, not knowing that you got bazookas aimed at you. We're talking about spiritual, digital, chemical, physical. The warfare goes deep in so many different angles. And that is why we are grateful for the teachings of Yeshua in this age, because that's what we tap into to keep us grounded, to keep us focused. The message for this today, my dear brothers and sisters, I'm not going to bite my tongue on it. It's just to let y'all know, do not allow yourself to be manipulated. There are a lot of individuals who take it upon themselves to study dark psychology, and they use it negatively. They get to tapping into the dark triad, and if you are not fortunate enough to stumble across some of this information, to study it, to see when it's coming at you, you might fall for it. Because some of these people are very, very twisted in their minds. And they will have you go down this rabbit hole. And I'm hoping that you will not fall for it so they don't get to get a chunk out of your good divine heart. Because that is why we see a lot of good people turning sour. We say the world is turning into a very dark place. Is it? Or is it just that more evil people are taking it upon themselves to see that more good people are rendered victims to their ignorance? Please, never let anybody knock out your light. You are a light worker. You are one with the sun. And you have one job, and that's to shine. You have one job. Your sole responsibility is to shine. So let them throw stones if they want to. That's okay. That's going to be good arm exercise for them. You know they could never reach you because you now vibrating one with the Christ. Let's go ahead and cap it at that, my dear brothers and sisters. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all so much for being amazing. Thank y'all so much for taking it upon yourselves to step out into the world and be the very, very best versions of yourselves. As we continue to bring about the greater light, as we continue to transmute all the negativity on the face of this planet, we know that the golden age is upon us. Y'all stay blessed.